Lesson 35, locating and using intercepts. First off, let's go through some vocabulary words. The solution of a linear equation, and remember a linear equation is just an equation whose line, if you were to graph it, is a straight line. So the solution of a linear equation in two variables is an ordered pair or a set of ordered pairs that satisfy an equation. The x-intercept is always going to be the x-coordinate that intersects the x-axis. So when y is 0, x is going to be the x-coordinate is going to be on the x-axis. And so the y-intercept is when x is 0, and so the y-intercept is going to be the y-coordinate that intersects or touches the y-axis. And in order to find the intercepts, we need to make sure that we put our equation in standard form. And standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are real numbers, and a and b cannot be 0. So let's take a look at an example. To find the x and y intercepts, there are two steps you need to take. To find the y-intercept, substitute 0 in for x because x is 0 for it to be the y-intercept. And then to find the x-intercept, substitute 0 in for y. So in our first example here, we want to find the x and y-intercepts for 3x plus 4y equals 24. So to find the y-intercept, we need to substitute 0 in for x plus 4y equals 24. So 3 times 0 is 0. All I'm left with is 4y equals 24. So divide by 4 on both sides. So when x is 0, y is 6. So this is the y-intercept. And we need to find the x-intercept. So when y is 0, what is our x? So 4 times 0 is 0, so I'm just left with 3x equals 24. Divide by 3 on both sides. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So the x-intercept is 8 when y is 0. So our intercepts would be 0, 6, and 8, 0. Next example. Find the x and y intercepts for 2x plus 5y equals 10. So we have 2 to find the y-intercept, put 0 in for y. So 2 times 0 plus 5y equals 10. To get y by itself, divide by 5, because my 2 times 0 is 0 is 0. So now, when x is 0, y is 2. And our next one, we have 2x plus 5 times 0 to find the x-intercept equals 10. To get x by itself, divide by 2. So our x-intercept would be 5 when our y is 0. So those would be our two intercepts. Next one, find x and y intercepts for negative 6x plus 9y equals 36. Now, since we already know we are substituting 0, there's a simplified way of finding the intercepts. To find the x-intercept, I'm just going to add negative 6x equals 36 because I know that the y is already 0. So now I can divide by negative 6 on both sides. So the x-intercept here would be a negative 6 when y is 0. So this is the x-intercept. And then to find the y-intercept, I just do 9y equals 36. So divide by 9 on both sides. So I would have when x is 0, y is 4. So this will be our y-intercept. Now that we know how to find the intercepts, now we can use the intercepts to graph a line. So we need to graph 5x minus 6y equals 30 using the x and y intercept. So to find the x-intercept, 5x equals 30 because my y is 0. So divide by 5 on both sides. So the x-intercept is 6, 0. And then, so I'll put that on my graph right now. 6 and 0. So that's my x-intercept because it crosses the x-axis. And then the other one, my y-intercept, I have a negative 6y equals 30. Get y by itself, divide by negative 6. So the y-intercept, when x is 0, y is a negative 5. So I'm going to go to my coordinate plane, 0, negative 5 would be down here. Now I can draw my line to connect the two. So there's my line just from the intercepts. Next one, graph 3x minus 7y equals 21 using the x and y intercepts. So 3x equals 21, divided by 3 on both sides. So the x-intercept is 7, 0. Find the y-intercept. We have negative 7, y equals 21, divided by negative 7 on both sides. So the y-intercept, when x is 0, y is a negative 3. I come over here to my graph, 7 and 0. 7 and 0 would be right here. And then we have 0 and negative 3 should be here. Now I can draw my lines. There's my graph. And another example here. Still graphing the intercepts. So I have 4x equaling 28. Divide by 4 on both sides. So the x-intercept would be 7, 0. And the other one be 7y equals 28. Divide by 7 on both sides. So the y-intercept would be when x is 0, y is a positive 4. I come over to my coordinate plane and I have 7, 0. So 7, 0 is here. Y-intercept is 0, 4. 0, 4 would be up here. Change that color so you can see that that's the y-intercept. And then draw our lines to connect the 2 points. And there's our graph. Now locating the x and y intercepts from a graph. So here they graphed it for us. We want to identify what are the intercepts. So here the x-intercept would be negative 4, 0. Because this is at negative 4, the y is 0. And here, when x is 0, y is, so since we're counting by 2, so 2, 4, 6, up 1 would be 7. So 0, 7. Next one, the x-intercept. This is not quite on the 8, and it's more than halfway. So we would say, so the halfway mark would be 7. So we would say this would be 7.5 when x is 0. And then over here, the y-intercept, when x is 0, y would be 5. And then over here, notice you don't see any points, but we can plot the points there for us. It's here and right here. So to find the x-intercept, the x is at, here I count by ones, so 6, negative 7, negative 8, when y is 0. And down here, when x is 0, y is, here's negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. And those would be our intercepts. Now using standard form to graph. Here, we need to write the equation in standard form and graph using the x and y intercept. this one was done for you. They graphed the x and y intercept. So what they needed to do is get the x's to the x and y both sides, but we don't want this fraction here. So what they ended up having to do is multiply them by 3 on both sides to get rid of the denominator over there. And so they would have ended up with, so if they multiplied everything by 3 over here, it means you have to multiply everything by 3 on this side. So you would end up with 3y equals a negative 2x plus 15. And then add the 2x to both sides. So now you have 2x plus 3y equals 15. And then they substitute, or then they found the intercepts. So they define the x, just say this was 0. So define the y, divide by 3. When x is 0, y is 5, which is what they had right here. And then if they had 2x equals 15 divided by 2, x intercept would have to be 7.5 and 0. And that's what they have here. So let's take a look at our example here. Write the equation y equals negative half x plus 4 in standard form, and then graph the intercepts. So I need to multiply everything by 2 so I can get rid of my denominator and find out what the coefficient is in front of the y. So now I have a 2y equals negative half times 2 is just a negative x. 4 times 2 is 8. Now I can add x to both sides. So now I have x plus 2y equals 8. And then find my x-intercept. Since y is 0, x would have to be 8 and 0. And then to find the y-intercept, it would be 2y equals 8 divided by 2. The y-intercept would be when x is 0, y is 4. So I plot these on my graph. So 0, 4 would be here. And then 8, 0, 8, 0 would be here. Now I can draw my line. And there's my graph. Same thing with this one. Put this in standard form. So all I need to do is subtract 12x on both sides. So now I have negative 12x plus 4y equals a negative 12. To find my x-intercept, y is 0, so I'm going to divide by negative 12. So the x-intercept would be positive 1, y is 0. And then to find my y-intercept, 4y equals negative 12, divided by 4. So y would be when x is 0, y is a positive 3. So I go to my graph, 0 and 3 would be here. My x-intercept, 1 and 0 would be here. I can draw my line. There's my graph. And some application problems. At a school play, student tickets are $5 and adult tickets are $8. Let x be the number of student tickets sold, let y be the number of adult tickets sold. The equation 5x plus 8y equals 400 shows that one drama club member raised $400 from ticket sales. Find the intercepts and explain what each means. So 5x plus 8y equals 400. I need to find the x-intercept, so that means y is 0. So now I have 5x plus 0 equals 400. Divide by 5 on both sides. The x-intercept would be $80, or 80 when y is 0. And then 8y equals 400. Find the y-intercept, so divide by 8. Y, when x is 0, y is 50. So what does those mean? So if they buy, so x is the number of student tickets. So if 80 student tickets are sold, 0 adult tickets were sold. And then the other one, when 0 student tickets were sold, 50 adults tickets were sold. So that's what our intercepts mean, and they still get their $400 from ticket sales. And the next one, the last one here. Henry jogs 6 miles per hour and bikes 12 miles per hour. The equation 6x plus 12y equals 24 shows that he has gone a total of 24 miles. Find the intercepts and explain what each means. So to find the x-intercept, 6x equals 24 divided by 6. The x would mean we'd have 4, 0. And then over here the y-intercept, 12y equals 24 divided by 12. Y would be when x is 0, y is 2. So what does that mean? So if A biked the intercepts would mean it go 24 hours, Henry either jogged for 4 hours to get 24 miles, or biked 2 hours for 24 miles. That's what our intercepts would mean. So that is our lesson on x and y intercepts.